Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're checking out a Roach Forest deck. This is a pretty standard Roach Forest deck. It's probably very similar to the previous one, although I haven't checked to compare. But honestly, since we're running more Olivia this time, and dropping the Arias to 2, I think that's a pretty decent change overall. Otherwise, the early game is pretty similar from memory. Instead of running Beetle, though, to look for the Rhino Roaches, it's just not really necessary here. You're mostly using Godwood Staff. You will have games occasionally where you just don't find Roach. Happens one in about every 5 to 10 games, where I just won't find a Roach early enough to actually win, but hey, yeah, it's not bad. Well, not bad overall. I'm just not a super experienced Roach player, so unfortunately I can't do the deck complete justice, but I still want to showcase a couple of pretty okay matches, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So the first match we're going to look at here is Portal. Out of all my matches, the two matches that went probably the best was Portal and Dragon. Honestly, probably the easiest of the two matchups for me to be able to potentially win in the overall. So you are looking to pretty much aggro early, play out as many cards that can generate you value as possible. At least that's how I like to play Roach. Probably not the best option every time, but I think getting aggressive pressure for early damage is super important. And just generating cards to be able to play is super good too. You really want to be winning sometime around turn 6 to 8. If you're playing much later than that, you've just got to pray they can't ward you out or heal out. And if you're playing too much earlier than that, yeah, then your opponent probably just dead drew. Because honestly, it's usually pretty hard to not like get completely overrun early if they have a decent hand. But again, I'm reasonably inexperienced with Roach still. I've still only played probably about 30 games total of Roach, of which I haven't won. Yeah, I'm probably close to a 50-50 actually, thinking back on it. I'm probably close to that, but definitely not at the same level as my Dragon, Portal, Rune kind of matchups. But the opponent here not really doing anything too impactful. They do decide to try and get some artifacts going, setting up their Ominous, going for their Absolute, going for a potential clear. Some big value. You can usually do some pretty nice things with Olivia here too. Being able to just swing big is always important. They did decide to go for Beta though, instead of Clear, which is definitely a choice. Not a choice I would have made, but definitely a choice. So I do go for the Lily and Crystal here. It's a pretty easy 2 for 1. Well, effectively it's 2 cards for 1 anyway. So I did have to sack a Fairy to get the 4/3 down there. But it does just allow us to hit face more, leave up some bodies, and hopefully be able to push some more damage next turn. Especially as we lead into turn 6, which is the start of where lethal range can kind of become an option for you. This match was more aggro focused. I was definitely pushing that way harder than normal, instead of just going for like hold off for Roach plays. Which is I think why I'm finding Dragon and Portal matchups to be in my favor, because aggressive playstyle seems to work well against them. Games where I have to play slower usually end in me losing, unfortunately. So we're going to pick up the clear on the ward there, along with getting a decent boost on our board, along with Evo damage. That'll take almost half their health away in this attack and get us some decent damage overall. And leaving up the 4/3 really doesn't do much. So they go for the Runica and stream a life play. Just picks them up a few clears here. But they are going to leave up some bodies, which does open them up to the potential of a Roach or Olivia kill here. Any bodies that stay up basically give me a huge advantage. And I end up drawing the second Roach, which just opens up another way to lethal them down. Because with that, we have game. Double Rhino Roach.
I won't give up.
The next matchup is against Aggro Dragon, a very prolific deck in the current meta. Aggro deck, I believe, is currently the #1 win rate deck as far as total wins, making it probably the best lettering deck you can nearly play in the current format. As the games are fast and over quickly, so if you lose quick, you do lose fast, you know, going to be over and out there. So we have plenty of drops here, Fairy Tail, Double Fairy, lots of good options. I do need to deal with the 1/1 here. This deck can struggle to deal with those. But things like May and Bale do a really nice job of cleaning up those Intimidate cards. Especially the Fortes on normal Evo, you can clean those up really nice with the Bale. So I decided to set up the removal here. This gets me a full board wipe, along with boosting Bale, which is pretty important. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot else going on in this round so far. It's really just playing cards to board for the next couple of turns. Getting Godward Staff to board is always really important too. If you can get it onto a free board, always take it. The extra potential draw that you can get off it when you're looking for a Roach, if you don't already have one, is pretty important. So I do misplay the Lily here, unfortunately. I should have Fairied and then Lilied, and then I would have been able to kill the 4-3 without having to actually waste damage on my Evo here. And without having to lose my Fairies. A minor misplay, but one that could have had a decent impact on the game overall. Especially leaving me with a bit of more of a sticky board that would have been harder to deal with. Fortunately, they don't do too much here, just dropping the Lizard and allowing us to just Fairy them down. Which will allow Bale to be live. And we're looking at a potential Aria play for turn 7. As that is when our Super Evolve becomes active and it opens up the Fairies for Storm. But they do let us just chip some more damage in. This is one of those games where I just wasn't finding Roach quickly. We're already 13 cards into the deck. We've run 3 Roaches and we haven't seen any yet. We see the Forte come down with the Super Evo. That does put him outside of a single Bale. It's a little unfortunate. Fortunately, a potential double Bale here does at least clean this up. And opens it up pretty nicely. And the Super Evo Fairy plus the Water Fairy is a lot of damage. Our opponent facing down 8, half of their health, and a full board of 4/4s. Well, nearly a full board, minus the Godward Staff. Olivia is a pretty nice play here, but it's only really enough to clean up 2 things. But the strike does let him clean up a 3rd. But that does mean we should at least stick 1 card here. Now, if I hadn't thought this through just a little bit more, I do wonder if I could have pushed a lethal here. I mean, with the Rhino pickup, we definitely have lethal. So the Olivia draws were huge. I mean, I think no matter what, I was probably dropping Olivia there, looking for a way to lethal them down. And the Roach was just the perfect icing for that turn. And next up, we have another Portalcraft match. Unfortunately, not as much variety this time, but this is at least a Sapphire match. I wish I could have had a little more variety for you guys, but I was seeing a lot of Portal and a Dragon this night. Not too much else. I had like 1 rune match in about 13 games while I was messing around with this deck. And being not the best Roach player in the world, it was definitely hard to get some okay gameplay of the deck where I didn't just either completely brick the hand or get run over immediately.
Only ransom I take is blood.
Which mostly it was getting run over immediately that was a problem, but it's not too bad overall. For anyone experienced, this deck is extremely strong. I believe this is 2nd or 3rd most win rate deck, Forest. It's definitely up there as one of the better decks, especially for experienced players. So we're not really doing a lot here that we haven't already done. We're kind of just getting in early, getting the damage in where we can. Cleaning up board and doing damage as we need. Really set up the Bale, the Killer Runrich, and Glade. Glade turn 5 is actually a really nice play. One of the better removal cards along with a bit of a draw engine, and has a decent sized body to take things out. Especially when we're seeing the Absolute Death right here come down with A for healing. This Portalcraft player going for the more defensive route, wanting to heal themselves, keep themselves out of range of Roach. Probably the right play, honestly, instead of being aggressive with their plays. Unfortunately, I can't pick up a full clear with just the Glade effect. I will have to trade Glade in here to at least wipe, but I think that's fine. Leaving up the 5-2 is plenty of threatening damage. So we have Fairy Tail, Lambert, Good Fairy, Bale, Killer Unroach, and Buglet. Buglet being our return card. Very nice card, actually. And we do pick up Aria. Aria not live yet, but will be live soon. Now, I probably honestly could have went for a Runner-Edge Buglet play here. Just got the extra damage in early. But I was trying to just kind of set up my board. Especially since we're going to have a lot of Fairies, Deepwood, and Roach now. It does open up a few more plays that we'll be able to make. Especially with Bale being live soon. So Arya can pretty much be a guaranteed play next turn if we'd like. Scoop up a bunch of damage, maybe.
My wings shall be your delivery.
We managed to get at least 1 damage off the Arya herself, and then 1 off each fairy, plus an extra fairy
Primal cries
that we have from hand if we wanted. But unfortunately, unless I pop my amulet, which I don't want to yet, I wasn't able to make that play here. Although it probably would have been good, honestly, thinking back on it. Maybe popping it onto a fairy, freeing up board space, dropping an extra fairy to hit for 2 potential extra damage, putting them on just 10 might have been a better play. So we see a bunch of gears get played there. No pop for the 8 drop, so we didn't end up seeing the Orcus here. Orcus can be a problem, but Bale and stuff do a pretty decent job of removing it, so it's not usually something that worries me too much. And thanks to this, I think we now just have lethal. Double Rhino Roach play should clean them up nicely, especially with Evo. Closing out our 3rd and final game for this video. A nice 9-5 Roach, straight to the face.
I won't give up.
So, well, I'm not the best Roach player in the world. I hope this video at least showed some proof of concept for the deck. Gives you guys a starting point for anyone who is interested in giving it a go. It's also one of the more reasonably affordable decks. I mean, you can get away without any Olivia or even potentially any Arya and just run a pure Roach build, or you can mix and match legendary number and ratios as you need and then just run the Roach build, because it's honestly just a really solid deck. One of the better decks to run in a budget setup, honestly. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, I'll see you then.